So context engineering, it's not a buzzword, right? Let me try and illustrate this by taking the example of an AI agent. Let's say we are discussing an AI agent, which basically helps us to write higher quality B2B emails, right? And it's a very common use case, because what typically happens that you are when you're trying to reach out, have to reach out to multiple designations. Sometimes you're varying sizes of companies, and hence that the message which is there in the email has to get modulated to all these scenarios, right? So like a typical like a use case for having an agent do this for you, right? Now the first step is getting the knowledge required for the agent together in one place, so which would mean that there could be previous campaigns which have been done, so it's good for the agent to know what teams worked well. The other bit would be, having detailed information on the ICP with respect to their pain points and the kind of companies they work in, typical personas, etc. That bit, the other thing also could be, especially with larger companies, the brand guidelines, the tonality, which has to be mentioned, right? So that's the knowledge. Increasingly, also the you have to tell the agent memory it needs to have, short term, long term, what does it need to remember when it's conversing with the user. And the third thing is the API. So you first of all have to get these three things out of your way, and remember knowledge, the knowledge bit which I mentioned. That for example, performance reports are always going to, every time you do email, you have more insight into what has worked, and of course your audience. The more time you spend uh, reaching out to them, the theoretically, like, you have to have you start getting more understanding about your audience, right? So that's step one. The step two is, and all of these are things which happen when you say context engineering. All these things, these are things which happen. Step two would be, so typically, the way it works, during runtime of the agent, there are system prompts. There are prompts at the system level, right? Then there are prompts at the user level. Then there is this interplay with respect to the tools that the agent needs to access. So in the case of the this email copywriting example, there would be, you at the most basic level, you need to have the agent to be able to go to Google and search and take information on the latest trends on that topic. Maybe if there is a social media trend management tool, it should be able to access those kind of reports from there, so that it can like draft a mail in line with what is happening right now, right? So just this whole layering of like system prompts, user prompts, when at what point the tool has to get activated, how does it all come together? So that's uh, orchestrating this entire interplay, right? That's the second part, step two. Step three, a very practical problem which we have increasingly seen, is that, whatever, suppose it needs to access white paper, right? Uh, it needs to be chunked, right? So this whole chunking of information before it is given to an LLM, right? That that saves a lot of resources. It saves a lot of time in terms of the time it takes to give an output. That's that chunking of information. I mean, that's a completely separate, I would say, topic. A lot of technology there which helps you to do that. Uh, yeah, so that's the step three. And step four, very important, is always at any point of time checking, uh, keeping a tab on the output and checking for hallucinations, and this kind of course, asking the user with respect to the if he or she is happy with the output and if it's aligned with the expectations, right? And then doing things to align with that, right? So that's really what context engineering is all about, and you can be sure that this is going to be very relevant for the next few years. So it's not just about uh, the prompts, in fact, I was going to say that it's not just about the prompts, it's this entire bit of context which is required with the prompts, to get the kind of quality output that you require. But if you look at the industry, businesses have not even started with detailed custom prompts and taking care with respect to that, and trying to, right? So long way to go with respect to ensuring that we get the basics of prompt engineering and now context engineering in place to get the kind of results that we want. Thanks.